Thank you, everyone. Always... Oh, yeah. Save my ears. Always an honour and a responsibility, a duty I feel when I can to come and speak here on the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network picket. Here, as always, to demand the expulsion of the Israeli ambassador for her incitement of genocide from British soil, and all the warmongers, all the genocidaires who are profiting and benefiting from the genocide should be facing their legal repercussions for it, and their moral ones, of course, as well. So, I'm very proud that I just came a little bit late from a huge march in Newham in East London, about 1,000 people to Newham Town Hall, where I spoke on behalf of the National Education Union as the International Solidarity Officer on the Newham branch of the NEU, and we've just come down from our national conference in Harrogate in North Yorkshire, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about some of the motions that we voted on there in support of Palestine. But as the IJAN picket, I also wanted to begin by saying, and as a proud descendant of the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa, of survivors of pogroms and persecution, that we are here as Jews because we know what suffering, what genocide, what persecution looks like. So we are here stood because we are Jews against genocide. And it is in the true spirit of Pesach, of Passover, which we've been celebrating this week. A festival that celebrates our liberation from enslavement and oppression, and where we remind ourselves every year of the bitterness of slavery and of the collective strength that we can draw from our faith, from solidarity, and from resistance. And as anti-Zionist Jews, Passover is an invitation for us to rededicate ourselves to the global struggle for peace and justice by upholding the fundamental truth that none of us are free until all of us are free. That our history, from enslavement in Egypt to extermination in Europe, compels us, as Sam said earlier, to always stand on the side of the oppressed and never with the oppressor. And today that is first and foremost standing in solidarity with the Palestinian people in their struggle for liberation and justice. So I wanted to express Chag Pesach Sameach to everyone on the picket, and also Free Palestine. My grandfather, if he were alive today, would be very proud that I was probably spending most of my Pesach up in Harrogate at a union conference, debating motions around international solidarity rather than around the Seder table with my family here in London. My grandmother wasn't as pleased. But we were there as a union of 500,000 people, 500,000 teachers, the largest education union in Europe, the third largest union within the TUC, and we reaffirmed our unwavering solidarity with the Palestinian people. Whilst we need to continue to struggle broadly across the TUC, the GMB and union in particular, and at the BMA as well, we are very proud that we had a conference hall that was a sea of kafirs, a sea of support for the Palestinian people by educators up and down the country. We were very proud to host our sister union, the General Union of Palestinian Teachers, the General Secretary, Syed Ezekat, who has been a regular attendee of our conference. We used to, and we will continue to, when we are able to, run 2 delegations a year to the West Bank, where we exchange information, knowledge and solidarity with our Palestinian comrades in the General Union of Palestinian Teachers. But the General Secretary gave us a very powerful and harrowing reminder of how teachers are creating hope in the rubble of schools in Gaza. How education, schools, teachers and children, alongside, as we've heard, hospitals, ambulances and medics, have been systematically and deliberately targeted by the State of Israel's genocidal onslaught in Gaza. He reminded us of the 15 or at least 15,000 children who've been massacred by Israeli bombs, the 650 teaching colleagues who've been murdered, and the tens of thousands more who've been maimed. And that none of these are numbers or statistics. Every single life is a universe, and we must grieve and mourn all of those martyrs and fight like hell for the living. More than 350 schools and kindergartens have been destroyed in Gaza, including many that have now been acting as shelters for displaced people. We've seen forced displacement and school closures in the West Bank, demolitions in the Bedouin communities. So what I was really proud with the Palestinian teachers, what they were showing of us, and how education is a form of resistance. They are on the front lines through the pain, the siege and the trauma, fighting for an education system where every child has the right to live in dignity and an education that inspires and empowers them, whether they're born in Newham or up in Newcastle, in Nablus or in Gaza, in Nairobi or in New Delhi. That is the struggle that we have as an internationalist education union. I'll very quickly share something specific about the motion that we passed overwhelmingly at conference in solidarity with the Palestinian people. We recommitted to boycott, divestment and sanctions of the local government pension scheme. We reaffirmed our call for all hostages to be released, but particularly and including the 9,000 Palestinian political prisoners and over 3,500 Palestinians in administrative detention, including hundreds of children without charge. But most excitingly for me, we organised a fringe meeting the day before this motion was heard. We were lobbying for an amendment to be passed to this motion to affiliate our union with the new Disarm Education campaign. And this was also overwhelmingly passed by the NEU. So it is now official National Education Union policy to campaign against the presence of arms companies in our schools and colleges. Now, many of you may think this is absurd, we had to pass this in the first place. But BAE Systems invests £100 million on outreach to schools for UK Science Week and STEM workshops and roadshows where they've reached over 1 million children around the country. Lockheed Martin provides resources for primary school children as young as 5 to colour in F-35 fighter jets that are raining bombs and terror on the people of Gaza as we speak. So that is what we are demanding when we say arms companies out of schools. We don't want Lockheed Martin, BAE Systems or any arms company in the classrooms with our children or in schools at all. The executives of BAE Systems and Lockheed should be in The Hague facing trial for aiding and abetting in war crimes, not in our classrooms promoting STEM careers or science education. We need now educators and workers, not just in our schools, but free. We need parents and families in our community to turn this motion into a reality now. Speak to your head teachers if you have children at school. Speak and reach out to your union reps at those schools. Inform them that this is now official NEU policy. Give us the courage to take this forward, knowing that not only do we have the union supporting us, we have the community backing and supporting us too. I did say I would finish. I will wrap up. Because the last thing about the arms trade that I want to mention is that I'm a proud geography teacher in Newham, the most diverse borough in one of the most diverse cities in the world. But Newham is also the host of the world's largest arms fair, Dicey, every 2 years. That is happening again this September. And we need, as a borough and as a city, to stand up and to say that when these weapons and technologies that are used to maim people from Palestine to Yemen, from Turkey to Syria, from Sudan to the Congo and West Papua, when these weapons, these tanks, these aircraft, these helicopters, these bombs and missiles are being paraded through our streets against the will of our community, that we will be on those streets and we will be saying no to the arms fair in Newham, no to arms fairs everywhere. We want to be living in a world and teaching in a community where we are investing in caring and not killing. If there is money for bombs, there is money for books. If there is money for warfare, there is money for welfare. So also please support your teachers when we go out on strike later this year. We are campaigning, we're going on strike because we've been giving an unfunded, below inflation pay rise. We should be going on strike in solidarity with our teaching colleagues and comrades in Palestine as well. But for now, we're going to be going on strike demanding more investment in our schools, in our children, not in bombs, not in drones. So thank you very much, Colin.